welcome to our third episode of our Culinary World Tour. Today we are gonna cook food from Algeria. Algeria is in Africa.
Today we are looking at Mahdjouba or Mhadjeb from Algeria. Based on what I've read, this is a very popular street food. It is made of semolina dough. So the covering is made of semolina dough and the filling is of caramelized onions and tomatoes. I saw many variations of this and tried to keep it really simple and basic. It was really fun to make this dough and you'll see why. I'm serving it with some harissa sauce. This is made using store-bought spices and this really tasted very good. We love the filling as well as the Mhadjeb itself. I'll definitely make it again. So let's see how to make the recipe. Here is a detailed list of ingredients for your easy reference, and for additional written instructions, please see the link in the description box below. So for our dough, this is 1.5 cup of fine semolina, and this is actually the semolina flour that I found in the store. You can use very fine semolina as well. I'm adding that to a bowl of my stand mixer. I have 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour, a teaspoon of salt, and I'm going to mix this and add enough water to form a soft dough. I'm mixing my ingredients with the water. I added 1/2 cup of water. I will add another 1/4 cup of water, and then if needed I will add a teaspoon of water at a time to get a really soft dough. So I've been kneading this for 10 minutes and as you can see this is a sticky dough, and I think this is how it's supposed to be, but just to be on the safe side I'm going to knead this for another 10 minutes. So I'm going to drizzle some oil on my plate here and also dip my fingers in oil, and because this is a sticky dough as you can see. And now I'm going to make small dough balls and let them rest here. So it's a very soft dough. This has to rest for another half an hour or an hour. I think the longer it rests the better. So I'm going to shape these into balls and let them rest. I think I should be able to get 6 to 7 portions of dough from this. I'm going to put this on the oil on the plate so it doesn't stick, and then cover this with cling wrap and let the dough rest. I'm grating the tomatoes that we are using for the filling here. All the recipes I saw, the tomatoes were grated to separate the pulp from the skin. The skin is not used. I guess you can blanch the tomato, peel the skin and puree it, but I'm just going to use the method I saw across the recipes and the videos. So I have my grated tomato. This was 1/2 kilo of tomatoes, 2 large ones, and these are 2 large onions, again a 1/2 kilo of onions which are thinly sliced in the food processor, and I'm going to use a few cloves of garlic. Again, this was optional. I saw it in one recipe. There are so many variations of the stuffing. I thought I would keep it simple and only use the garlic for the flavoring. So this is it, and then we'll have salt and pepper and oil to flavor it, and let's get started with the stuffing. I have added 2.5 tablespoons of olive oil to this pan, and it's not even hot, but I'm going to add my onions to it and just let them cook till they start getting caramelized. I'm going to add the garlic next. So I'm going to add the garlic, which is about a teaspoon of garlic. Again, this is optional. I just thought it would enhance the flavor. So So our onions have caramelized beautifully. I'm going to add the tomato puree. So almost all the recipes that I saw had tomato paste added. I don't have any tomato paste, so I'm not going to add it. I'm going to add the salt and pepper. And I guess if you wanted to make it spicy, you could add some chilies, which again I'm not going to do. This recipe really had many variations. This time I'm just going to keep it really simple. So I'm going to let this cook down so that till the filling is not very watery and it is something that I can fill into my bread. All the excess moisture has dried out and it is dry enough to be filled into our bread. So I'm going to turn off the heat and let it cool down. I have put some oil on my sheet and I'm going to take one dough ball at a time and then stretch it out into a really thin phyllo like pastry. So let's see if I can do it. So let's see. Well, this is an easy dough to work with actually. It's very soft. I'm able to spread it quite easily. The oil definitely helps. And what I want to do is get it as transparent as possible and stretch it in all directions. So let's see. This is my first attempt, so I wonder how it's going to be. And all the recipes I saw, none of them really used any rolling pins. It was fingers. It was okay to have some tears in the dough as it was going to get folded over itself. The key was that it be really thin, as thin as possible. Maybe there's just too much oil. It keeps slipping, so I'm going to try this on another baking sheet with less oil. So for this pan, I took another baking sheet and added just less than a teaspoon of oil and spread it instead of adding a tablespoon like I'd done earlier. I'm finding it's much easier to spread it out since it's not slipping back because of the additional oil and it's adhering to my tray. So I guess you don't want to use a lot of oil, just enough to help stretch it, but to let it stay in place. So I think I will be able to fill the entire sheet with this dough and then I'll add my filling in the center. I think this is as thin as I can make it. As you can see, it's filled almost the entire sheet pan. Now I'm going to add some filling, just a ladle full, spread it around in the center. And the filling tasted really good. It has a slight tartness from the tomato, but it is really sweet as well because of the caramelized onions. It is very delicious. So this is done and I'm going to fold this. Okay, it's really delicate. As I pick it up, I realize it's very delicate, and there we go. All right, now from the top, I'll fold it over this, and I will fold one edge over here, and so that I am not making just one side of it too thick, I am going to roll it this edge on here to kind of make it more even. Pinch it out a little bit. Oh, these had some tears. I think that's fine. Practice is going to make this better for sure. Now I will place this on my griddle and then I have to cook it on both sides, no additional oil required. So the pan is really hot. I don't know at what heat I should be cooking it at. The videos I saw, quite a few were in French or I think maybe Arabic, and I didn't really understand everything they said, but let's do this. And then I'm supposed to cook it on both sides till they're done. So let's see how this goes. So I flipped one over, but it'll need to be cooked again on that side. I think this needs to be cooked on a low to medium heat because we want all the layers to be cooked and for it to brown well. So I'm going to adjust my heat to a low to medium heat and then cook it on both sides till we have achieved a nice brown color. It's a nice brown color now, and I think all the layers should be cooked now. I was really worried that the inner layers may not be cooked, so browned it a little bit, and I think this is ready to eat. Right. So it sounds crispy, right? I'm going to cut it for you. And it's hot. It's pretty hot. Oh, looks nice from inside. You can see the steam coming out. You want to taste it?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's wait for a minute till it cools down a bit, and then you can taste it.
Yeah. So this is baked, as you can see. So it holds well. It's a little bit hot. Let's see. Let me take the whole thing. The onions and the tomatoes have got this beautiful texture to make the texture hold. Let's try dipping this with the sauce.
You try it from this side, you'll get more of the filling.
Yeah. Could have used little less spice.
In the sauce?
Yeah. And this one.
Okay.
But everything is...
Do you like this?
Yeah. Everything is great.
You take another bite of this
Yeah.
filling and tell me?
Yeah. Take another bite. Got that nice crunch to it. And as you can see, it's good. Crispy on the outside and like soft on the inside.